Hey Stitches, your girl Chris here. Welcome to my channel on social. Now if this is the first time that you're finding me, I promise you I do not always look this ratchet. If you have been here before, then you know. You just know. So the truth is, it is the middle of the night on a weeknight, and if I were sensible, I would probably be in my bed, but I just couldn't sleep. And instead of just laying in bed counting sheep, I decided, why not just film a video? I had some stuff that I wanted to share with you guys, and the house is quiet. There are no sounds except the crickets that you can probably hear chirping in the background. And I'm like, let's make hay while the moon shines. Whatever. Anyway, so for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some new acquisitions to like my sewing. I have recently received a couple of gifts and I eagerly want to share them with you. Now I am doing the Whole 30 Fabric Challenge, which means I am on a fabric buying ban. But I'm allowed to receive fabric if they were gifted to me. So I do have a couple pieces of fabric that I want to share with you. And I also have a box of goodies that I want to share with you guys. So let me just take a sip of tea. So good. All right, I'm ready now. So I actually have pre-washed a couple of my fabrics. I have recently started washing my fabrics as soon as I get them and then putting them in my stash. Reason being, previously I would put my fabrics in the stash. Some of them I would wash when I thought I wanted to use them, and then I changed my mind and didn't use them, and so they went back in my stash. And then I started getting confused about which fabrics had actually been washed and which were not. And so I would end up washing over all of the fabric because I wasn't sure and I did not want to take the risk. And so now I have just made it easier for myself by washing all the fabrics that I receive first and then adding them to my stash later. So the first fabric I want to share with you is this one right here. So my dad actually bought me this piece of fabric and I'm pretty surprised actually. Now I like that it is on a black base and I'm not averse to this floral print. I think it's kind of nice, but this is a stretch fabric. Now you guys, I pulled out the fabric and then I could smell like those, what do you call them? The downy bead things that you put in the wash, the scent booster things. Oh my goodness. It is so good. This smells so good. Oh my gosh. Anyways, as I was saying, this is a knit fabric and I tend to sort of shy away from knit fabrics. I just started my sewing journey by sewing with woven fabrics, and making that segue into making up knit fabrics has been really slow. But this year I promised myself to go ahead and give some knit projects a try. And so I have already made 2 swimsuits for the year. I'll pop the video in right here in case you're interested. And I also made a dress quite recently as part of my black and white collection for the Whole 30 Fabric Challenge. I'm going to be sharing the collections with you guys sometime soon. But in the meantime, you might want to consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss when those videos finally hit the scene. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to make with this fabric, as it is a stretch fabric. But I do think it's nice, and I think I have maybe 2, I want to say maybe 1.5 yards actually. If I were to estimate, I would estimate like 1.5 yards of this fabric, and so I can probably squeeze out a nice dress out of this. Now Mimi G has this simplicity pattern that all the black girls have made. It is a knit pattern. She's wearing like this white dress on the cover of it. I'm not remembering the number. I'll pop the envelope in right here, and I'm wondering if maybe I can make that dress out of this fabric. It is a stretch fabric, but I'll need to go ahead and check the stretch percentage. That feels and sounds so foreign to me. But I'm going to need to go and check that first to see whether or not I can potentially make that dress using this fabric. So well done, Daddy. I actually like this fabric. Now the next one I want to share with you is also a fabric that my dad bought. And it is this one right here. Now these ones, truth be told, are not really in my color scheme other than like the white. and maybe the little bit of pink right here in the flowers, these browns, and like it's almost like a purpley color, but it's more like a purpley, like what is this, mauve maybe, and like these olive greens and stuff. And not really in my color palette, but you best believe I'm going to make something with this fabric because my daddy bought it for me, and I like to think of myself as a daddy's girl, and so I'm definitely going to pride myself when I wear this one. So again, it is a knit fabric. I do not know if my daddy did not get the memo that his daughter does not sew knit fabrics, but since he bought them, I'm going to push myself a little further out of my comfort zone and find two beautiful garments, hopefully, fingers crossed I don't screw them up, to make with these fabrics. So this one right here, I want to say, is this like 1.5 yards as well? No, this one seems longer. This seems like maybe, nah, I think it's 1.5 yards. Maybe it's just wider. So I've got 1.5 yards approximately, I think, of both fabrics. So if you guys have any suggestions for any patterns that utilize knit fabrics that I can potentially use to make up using these two fabrics, then drop me some comments down below so that I can go ahead and check them out. So those are the two from Daddy. Now I've got another piece of fabric to show you guys, and this one actually was bought by my husband. Let us see if he understood the assignment. So this is a fabric that hubby bought me. I'm hoping that the light is not interfering too much with the colors in it. And this one is a woven fabric, so hubby gets points definitely for getting the base substrate right. Now this one also has like this abstract print, like floral vibe going on, and I do quite fancy like abstract prints. And I'm getting more and more into floral fabrics now, but not like the ditzy print kind, the more big and bold kind. So hubby gets points with that as well. And then the colors are like shades of purple, a little bit of navy blue, and then this yellow. So for the most part, he got the colors kind of right. Some of the purples are on my color card. I meant to stay away from yellow, but because this is not an inordinately large amount of yellow on this fabric, I think I can probably get away with it. On the upside, purple is my absolute favorite color in the entire world, even though I don't actually have a lot of it in my wardrobe. So hubby also gets points for having purple fabric. Now in terms of the yardage, this one seems to be, I would guess, maybe like 2.5 yards if I were to guess. And so that is a good amount. I usually like to buy like 3 yards of fabric when I'm not sure what I'm going to make, because I can generally get a dress out of 3 yards of fabric. Something with gathers, something above the knee, something with sleeves. I can typically get that kind of dress out of 3 yards of fabric. So I'm pretty sure I can get something nice made up out of this fabric as well. So this is a fabric piece. Oops, that's the wrong side. So this is fabric piece number 3. Now, those were the fabrics from Daddy and hubby. I've got some new fabrics as well, and you may or may not be familiar with this packaging. Now, I am a Minerva ambassador, which means that you can save yourself a couple extra dollars if you use my Minerva ambassador code. I'll drop it in the description box down below, just because the website has been giving a little bit of issue at the time of recording this video, and I want to make sure that it's back up and running properly and that my code is working before I tell you what it is. And in the off chance that it's not ready by the time I post this video, then I'll just put a little note down below in the description box. Anyways, as I was saying, I am a Minerva ambassador, and that means that I get free fabric from Minerva from time to time, and I can sew up whatever I want with this fabric as long as I post it to the Minerva website, I think within about 2 or so months of receiving it. So I haven't actually taken out my fabrics just yet, and so I have not pre-washed them. I actually just grabbed this from the post office today. I opened it at the post office just for customs inspections, so I'm actually going to unbag them here on camera with you guys. So the first one I want to share with you is, alright, so they often put like promotional material in my packaging, so that's just what this is. And the first fabric I want to share is this striped green and white fabric. Oh my goodness, I don't think that the lighting is doing this fabric any justice, I'm probably gonna have to try and snap a photo of it and put it up, hoping that you guys can see. But it is like this lime green shade of green with white striping, and I really do like striped fabrics. Now, when I selected this fabric, I knew I wanted to make a button-down shirt for my green collection as part of the Whole 30 Yards challenge. Now, I have dropped a video here on the channel giving you all of the information on the challenge and how I want to approach it. You might have gleaned by now that I have broken down the challenge into 3 mini collections: a pink and red collection, a green and blue collection, and a black and white collection. So I am doing 3 different collections for that challenge. And so when I saw this green and white fabric, I had to have it. And immediately I thought I wanted to make a button-down shirt for the green and blue collection. Now, I'm not sure just yet which pattern I want to use. I have recently featured a video right here on the channel featuring 5 of my favorite button-down shirt patterns. I'll drop the link in right here. That one is a great one to go and check out, especially if you are transitioning to fall or to spring. I think a button-down shirt is a great wardrobe staple. So I definitely think I'm going to make up one of those 5 patterns. I just haven't decided just yet which one I want to go ahead and try with this fabric. Now, the next fabric I got from Minerva, I got it with the mindset of making some bottoms to go with my button-down shirt. And it's actually this gorgeous cobalt blue twill fabric. Look at how amazing this shade of blue is against my skin. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love this. Now, generally, I'm not really drawn to solid fabrics, but I feel like I need to introduce more solids into my wardrobe so that I can mix my printed tops with like solid bottoms or vice versa. I tend to gravitate towards making dresses just because I like to use print, and it's so much easier just to use the entire print throughout, at least for me. But now I am experimenting a little bit more with sewing separates, and now that I am sort of figuring out how to fit pants, then I want to experiment a little bit more with that. And so I think I'm going to actually make a pair of trousers using this fabric, again as part of the green and blue collection. Now, I have in mind the NH Riviera trousers. I really like how these look, and I had it in mind to make as well with a pink and white large scale gingham fabric as part of the pink collection, but I may just make them in this fabric instead for the blue collection. I do need to go ahead and twirl this pattern. I want to make sure that I get a decent fit on the trousers, and because I'm just not really familiar with like fitting trousers, I know I need to slow down with this project, take my time to get the fitting right. I know it's not going to be perfect. I don't expect it to be perfect, but I do want them to fit me fairly well. So that is what I have in mind for this blue fabric right here. So can you see these 2 pieces together? Well, assuming you can see the screen at all. But these 2 pieces, in my mind, just will pair beautifully. All right, next up, I have a box, and this box actually contains some gifted items from a fellow sew sister. Her name is Bird. You can find her here on YouTube as Yoga Bird Sews, as well as over on Instagram using the very same handle, Yoga Bird Sews. I'll pop it on the screen, and I'll also put it down below in the description box. And she sent me a package, you guys, and I'm super excited to have received a package from a fellow sew sister. So I'm just going to open it. I had opened it previously as well because, again, I had to go through customs inspections, but I want to share with you all of the goodies that Bird has sent me. So I'll pull out this bag first. There is a tote bag inside that says Crafty AF. And I'm sure I can use this tote bag when I go shopping. And inside this tote bag are 2 pieces of fabric. So the first one is this one right here. And this one has little images of black folk. Actually, I think I have it upside down. So this is the right way up. And I think this is a pretty cool fabric. I've never actually owned any fabric with like black faces on it. And these ones actually have, they're actually full body. So these have black full bodied folk all over this fabric, different sizes, different shades, different genders. And so I'm definitely going to have to think long and hard about what I want to make up with this fabric. Now, it is a directional print. I don't want to risk any of my people standing on top of their heads when I make up this fabric. So I am going to wash it and fold it and pack it neatly in my stash and wait for the perfect project to call out to me to use for this fabric. Now, she also sent me another piece of fabric, and this one is an Ankara fabric. I want to say this one is called Kente, but I might be wrong. So if any of you have any expertise about the different types of Ankara, then be sure to drop me a comment down below and let me know. I am a huge fan of Ankara, but I know like the different designs have like different meanings and so on, and I don't quite know what they are. But when I saw this one, that is what came to mind. But if I'm wrong, then I'm definitely open for correction. So this Ankara fabric is in oranges and reds and greens and yellows. So technically speaking, these colors are not on my color chart, but again, this is a gifted fabric, so you bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to sew it up and that I'm going to rock it proudly, whether or not it is in my color scheme. So I just want to take a minute to say thank you so much, Bird, if you're watching this video, for thinking of me and for graciously sending me this care package. I really, really, really appreciate it. Now, I don't live somewhere where I can run on out to a Joann or to Hobby Lobby or any other local fabric stores for that matter and pick up fabrics or patterns or notions, and so my heart really is warm that Bird has thought of me and has sent me this package. So those are the two fabrics. Now, she also sent me just like tape measure, and there was a card right on the top, but I actually think I took the card out when I was doing the customs inspection, and I've already put it on my mantle. So that was a really nice touch from Bird as well. Now, additionally, she sent me some patterns. And can you really go wrong with patterns? Probably not. So inside my bag, I have a stack of patterns, and there's one more in the box. It is a Vogue pattern. This is Vogue 1735. This one is a cult favorite. Everybody and their mama has sewn up this pattern. Well, everybody and their mama except me. So I finally have my hands on this pattern, and I think I want to go ahead and give it a try. I'm not sure yet which fabric I'm going to use to make up this pattern, but I'm almost certain that one of the fabrics that I got on my recent fabric haul to Barbados, I'll pop the link in right here. I got some amazing like silky prints and so on, and my mind has immediately gone to a black and gold printed fabric in that haul that I think would be perfection in this dress. But don't hold me to it just yet. I'm going to have to see. Now, aside from that Vogue pattern, she also picked me up Simplicity 9784. If you guys are not seeing, then I'll be sure to pop the envelope on screen. From where I'm sitting, it looks like it's reflecting with the light and the camera and whatnot. And I'm guessing it doesn't help that it's so late at night. And so if I can't see when I'm editing, then I'll pop the envelopes in so you guys can get a better look. Now, I like the back of this pattern, and even though I typically prefer to have my back covered because I must wear a bra, I think I can probably hack this pattern to lower the crossover just a little bit so that I can wear my bra with this one. Now, she also got me Simplicity 9551, and I actually already own Simplicity 9550, which is a smaller size envelope to this very same pattern. Now, this envelope is in the women's sizes, and I actually fall in the Mrs. size category, but I'm pretty sure that I can probably get some usage out of this pattern as well. This one is Simplicity 9851. Again, this is in the women's sizing. It starts at the size 20W, and the size 20W is for, let's see if I can find it. Where's the size? Oh, 20W starts at a bust of 42. Now, my bust is a 41.5, and I usually like to choose my bodices based on my high bust measurement, which is about 37.5 to 38, really just depending on the day. And so if I were to make up this pattern, I'm definitely going to have to figure out how to grade it down a little bit around the neckline and the shoulders. But I do love this pattern. I have been eyeing it up since I saw Raven of Raven Marine make one up in like this bone white color. I think it's a really, really nice pattern, and I'm hoping that I can get some use out of this pattern envelope as well. Next up, this one is McCall's 6959. It is this wrap dress right here, and I do quite like wrap dresses. I also shared on this channel 5 or 6 wrap dress patterns that you could make instead of Vogue 2000, and that video was one of my earliest videos here on the channel, and I think you guys really liked that one. So this one is another wrap dress pattern which is going to fit quite nicely in with those patterns already in my stash, and I think I like View B. It has like a collar and it has a flared skirt which always complements my rectangular body shape quite nicely, and so when I get around to making this pattern, I'll probably make it up in View B. Now the next one she got me is Simplicity 9140. It's a pretty basic like grown on sleeve dress. I don't think you can go wrong with something like this, and if I'm honest, I probably will go ahead and hack this pattern because you know your girl loves a good pattern hack. Next up is Mimi G's 9598. Now I already actually own this very same pattern in these very same sizes, but it doesn't hurt to have an extra copy of a pattern. I have made this one once before. I actually sewed it up here on YouTube in my first solo live sewing session. Whew. You guys, that was nerve-wracking, but I did enjoy the process, and I promised myself to try and go live a little bit more often here on the platform. So if you're into like the whole live vibe, drop me a comment down below and let me know whether you'll be up to seeing me go live again, or if you're one who prefer to have like a pre-recorded video that you can sit down and watch in your own time. But this again is Simplicity 9598. Now the last pattern that Bird sent me, I think is what triggered off this care package to begin with. Now Bird and I had been discussing earlier in this year doing a collaboration, and she suggested Know Me 2069, which is this pattern right here by Lynn. I really loved this pattern, but of course I did not have it, and I thought with so many pieces, I didn't think I wanted to buy the PDF copy and then have to print all of the pieces, assemble all the pieces, trace them off, and then do my pattern adjustments. So she volunteered to pick up this pattern for me and send it my way so that I could eliminate at least the printing and assembling of the PDF copy. Now I'm still going to have to trace out my pattern sizes because I like to do that. I like to preserve my patterns for as long as possible, and the easiest way for me to do that is to trace them off, and then I can go about making my fit adjustments on the traced pieces. Very rarely do I ever sew up a pattern straight out the envelope. My body is just not set up that way. That is just the truth. And so I like to do the fit adjustments. I figure if I'm sewing, then I may as well take the time to try and fit them to my body a little bit better than they would straight out of the envelope. And so it's a lot more work, but in my mind, very much worth it. So anyway, this is Lynn's pattern, and I'm pretty sure Bird and I are still going to have to go ahead and do this collaboration. Now I am aware that seasons are changing for her, so I'm not sure whether we're going to have to hold off on this one until sometime next year, you know, early spring or something like that. But I'm going to have a chit chat with her and then see what's up and what we're going to do about our collaboration. Now there are 2 other things in my box. 2 spools of green thread. These I specifically requested from her because I was working on, I think it was the chalk and notch area as part of my accidental lounge set. Again, there's a video here on the channel. I'll drop the link in right here. You can run ahead and look at that one after you finish watching this one. And I ran out of green fabric, and so I mentioned it to her and asked her if she would mind picking me up another spool of green fabric in a specific color. This is color 716, and she did so, and she sent me 2 spools of this green fabric. I do have some lime green double gauze in my stash that I recently got in that very same fabric haul that I spoke of earlier from Barbados, and so these 2 spools of thread are definitely going to come in handy when I finally get around to pulling out that fabric. Now the very last thing in the box is just a Dritz seam ripper. And if you are like me, you make tons of mistakes when you're sewing. Now I have been sewing for quite a while, and so perhaps I don't make as many mistakes as I once did, or at least not the same type of mistake. But you better believe that I draw for my seam ripper time after time after time in my sewing room. You cannot do without it. Your seam ripper ought to be your best friend. Swear down. Best friend. So those are the things that I got from Bird. So thank you again so much, Bird, for my little care package. Alright, you guys, so those are all the things that I wanted to share with you, all of the recent additions to my sewing space. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up, drop me some comments down below, and let me know, especially as it pertains to the fabrics, what you think they should become. Now, if you have gotten this far and you're not a subscriber, then you may want to consider subscribing. If you enjoyed this content, then you might want to come back and see me again sometime soon. And the easiest way to do that is to hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on so that you can be alerted when I post new videos. Alright, you guys, it is late. Late. And I really do need to get to bed. I have to get up early in the morning to do my 8 to 4 because without my 8 to 4, then I can't afford to buy fabric. And if I can't afford to buy fabric, then I'm going to be miserable forever and ever and ever and ever. Amen. So I'm just going to repack all of these goodies into the appropriate boxes with the fabric. I think the ones that I have pre-washed, I'll probably just fold them. The ones that need to be washed, I'm just going to drop them in my hamper. And then I'm going to drag my sorry behind to bed. Tomorrow is another day. So until next time, you guys, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.